This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. FLA says it now has a 1-minute background checks. It now takes about 1 minute for the Firearm Licensing Authority to know if individuals applying for firearms are criminals or not, according to CEO Shane Darling. We have improved our security infrastructure in the Criminal Records Office, where the individual coming in for applications as well as renewal are fingerprinted, and we know the result of their criminal backgrounds in 1 minute. Therefore, we are able to decipher between the good and the bad at the point of the application we receive at the FLA, he said, adding that the authority will be working closely with the Criminal Investigations Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to provide a more effective service. Darling was speaking at Friday's official opening of the FLA's Northern Regional Office in Discovery Bay, St. Anne. We have had to wait for a criminal report that sometimes it takes 3 to 6 months to be received by the FLA, so this is a vast improvement, he noted. Earlier this year, the beleaguered licensing body made headlines for weeks after Darling called a press conference to address accusations he said were being leveled at him in relation to the approval and rejection of firearm license. He accused the former FLA chairman, Dennis Meadows, of being behind a social media post that questioned his integrity. The rhetoric ratcheted up a notch when the Integrity Commission released a damning report in which it suggested that Meadows could face charges for his role in granting of a firearms license to a relative. The commission also concluded that while he was the minister in charge of the FLA, the opposition People's National Party's Peter Bunting gave approval for the granting of firearm license to 2 individuals with criminal traces. Bunting served as a security minister between 2012 and 2016. The special report covered the period 2016 to 2018 and found that another former national security minister, the Jamaica Labour Party's Robert Montague, knowingly granted firearm permits to 6 people with criminal traces while he was minister between 2016 and 2018. Montague subsequently resigned from his job as minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and has insisted that he did nothing wrong. Bunting, who is the leader of opposition business in the Senate and the PNP spokesman on national security, refused to tender his resignation on the ground that he too did nothing wrong. On Friday, Darling cited the reduced wait time for background checks among recently made major improvements in the FLA's effort to determine the eligibility of applicants. Speaking during the event, Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, stressed the importance of the FLA's duty to ensure that only those with clean slates are granted gun license. The FLA will ensure that those who seek to acquire a firearm are law-abiding citizens that want to protect themselves or are involved in sporting activities such as bird shooting. Once any man is found with an illegal gun, we will ensure that we put them away for a very long time, as these guns can't be used for anything good but to take the lives of Jamaicans. Illegal firearm is the greatest threat to our society today, so we have to send a message that this form of behavior will not be tolerated, said Chang. Assistant Commissioner of Police for Area 2, Calvin Allen, spoke of the important role the FLA plays in the fight against the crime. This entity is vital in the safety and the security of our citizens. We recognize the numerous responsibility of this entity, and we are aware of the effects of the handling of the firearm. More stringent control of firearm commerce is evident as the FLA continues to strengthen and tighten the entire process as they regulate with purpose, he said. Therefore, the FLA will remain that vital entity in our continued fight against the criminal elements as we seek to make our country safe. The Discovery Bay office is the 4th to be established since the FLA's inspection in 2006. Darling explained that it will serve residents of Falmouth, Trelawney, St. Anne, and St. Mary who previously had to travel to either Kingston or Montego Bay. As a part of national security, we must offer security, privacy, and convenience to our stakeholders, he said. FLA Chairman retired Colonel Audley Carter assured that the services provided by the Discovery Bay office will be on par with that offered at other locations. He also urged the employees to maintain their integrity at all times. Don't be tempted to lose your integrity because of a small level of remuneration, but more so count your blessings. Be reminded that when you do wrong, you don't just let down yourself, but also your team members when you allow yourself to fall, he urged. Friends slain in Bedward Gardens triple murder. 3 families have been plunged into mourning following the killing of 3 young men in Bedward Gardens, Augustown in St. Andrew early yesterday morning. Characterized by residents as ambitious young men who despised the guns and hated the high levels of gang violence in the area, 18-year-old Keena Ray, Rashid Boopsy Edwards, 24, and Kevan Jackson, 22, were shot dead by gunmen. Inspector Stephen Taylor, who is in charge of the Augustown police station, told the news that the killings were suspected to be executed by gang members, noting that it may be as a result of a long-standing conflict between the Color Red, otherwise known as Gaza Gang, and the Bedward Gang in the area. It's an ongoing conflict. Somebody dead from one side and they want to take some revenge, so both sides at each other, Inspector Taylor said, adding that no firearms were recovered and so far no suspects have been identified. The 3 men who residents said were joined at the hip were longtime friends who were out playing board games at their normal hangout spot just a few feet from their respective homes after returning from a party the night before. Simone Ray, the aunt of Keno, said she heard loud explosions at approximately 4 a.m. yesterday. Me hear the loud explosion them like M16 gun. A barrage of shot and same time me say, "Ah, what that?" she exclaimed. Startled from her slumber, Ray made her way to the end of the road, where she came face to face with her nephew's lifeless body. It looked like a more than one of them, like somebody did there saw wait, cause him get it both front and back way, she said in recollection of the last image she was left with of the teen. The news, she said, would be a difficult one to break to Keno's 74-year-old grandmother, who has raised him since he was young. Edward's mother, who was overcome with emotions, managed to utter, "Him no in a no badness, him no give no problem, him just a laugh, jovial and love play music. Every day him and Keno sing." She added that he had aspirations to become a singer, having been once the lead singer of his alma mater Papine High School's choir. Edwards had left behind a 1-year-old daughter. Anne-Marie Johnstone, Jackson's cousin, expressed a concern for his 3-year-old daughter, who is now left without a father. "Him no trouble nobody. All him want do a play music and sing," she said of Jackson. Jackson's relatives were heartbroken at the reality that the party they had all just attended would be their last moment of merriment together and they would never see him alive again. "We heart a hurt we man because he's not a troublemaker. We no know of him in a trouble. We no go station for him. We no hear him a fight with nobody. So it hurt we of course," said another cousin. "From morning we can't do nothing, we can't eat, we just sit down so," said one of his aunts. "We no understand what happened. We no know what cause all it. We lost, especially them 3 little youth that we no in a wagwan." Cross-dressers and prostitutes causing pain. An executive member of the Halfway Tree and the New Kingston Citizens Association is calling on the police to take a more active role when dealing with the prostitutes and the cross-dressers who occupy gullies in the area from which they terrorize residents. Michael Abrams, who described his role in the association as a watchdog, told the news that residents and passers-by were being attacked, robbed, and even boogered, and now many people living in the area are opting to leave. "We have a situation where persons are just selling out and moving on because they got tired of it. On a particular housing development along Ruthven Road, several persons are selling their property. 5 out of about 12 people, and you wondering what is going on here, and we talk to them, and they are telling us they can't go out at night, they can't come in, and they can't leave anything outside, so they're just selling and going somewhere else," Abrahams told the news, noting that 5 people left over the past year. A man was stripped totally naked and boogered. "We have had so far about 5 of those incidents occurring in and around the area. It has gotten out of control in the nights around 12 midnight to 4 o'clock in the morning. I think enough is not being done about it, and the persons who at times are attacked are afraid to come forward and give statements because of how the police are behaving. Persons have been accused of doing business with them," Abrahams continued. He added that despite his many complaints to police personnel in the area, Officers advised him that they had not got any statements from victims about the issue, and as such they could not take action. Abraham said he is aware that the items that are stolen from the victims are given to various prostitutes to hide. When are we going to have laws which say the police can act without somebody coming in and talking to them? A disgruntled Abrahams asked. He also highlighted that the areas targeted include Halfway Tree, Ruth Venn Road, Cecilia Avenue, Winchester, Knutsford Boulevard, Arden Road, and Lady Musgrave Road. It happened to a young man who worked at the call center along Halfway Tree Road. He was walking to Halfway Tree Square to get a taxi about 2 o'clock in the morning. The staff bus usually takes too long to get him home, and the same thing happened to him. The youngster was embarrassed to the point where he did not go any further with the police investigations. I'm hearing further that he is one of the persons who picked up syphilis and another young man who got herpes, Abrahams said, making reference to a story published in the news last month in which the man described being pounced upon by a group of at least 8 people, including a woman, bearing machetes and knives. Meanwhile, Corporal Christopher Tapper from the New Kingston Police Division told the news that the police were aware of the issue in the area. I can assure you that we have had instances of reports. However, not many are documented because when persons come to report to us, they say they prefer if no action is taken and do not provide the information needed, so we have not much documented in diary. People are very reluctant to give official reports, and even if we hear of it, we cannot compel a man to make a report, Tapper said, echoing Abraham's statements. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.